Welcome back to our side quest. Today we're going to be talking about FPV drones, optic drones. So grab your popcorn and let's get into it. First of all, let's see what's an optic cable and how strong they are, because the normal fiber optic cables that we use, it's basically for our internet access that almost everybody has in their homes, and especially the ones that we use for our surround sound or Xboxes, PlayStations. It's that little cable, but when you plug it in, it's got that light traveling through it. But yeah, let's get into it as we go along.
Yeah, so this is about the fiber cable for the drones. This is what inside. This is so-called, we use the super light fiber. You can see, very tough, okay? So normally it's very difficult to break it. Yes, see? You see the sound? Okay.
So practically the cable looks more or less like fishing line, but it doesn't break that easy. Fishing lines don't break easily, so it's a bit odd how they got fiber optic lines. It's not even covered. First of all, normally the optic lines are covered because the data bounces through the light to get to the other side, insulated coating or anything. But in this case, they don't look like they're covered in any insulated coating or anything. So that's a bit of an odd thing to see, and it worked. Let's see how it actually works on one of this footage that I have.
Footage from a Russian fiber optic drone on the hunt inside the besieged Ukrainian city of Prakovsk. In the cat and mouse game of drone development that's been the hallmark of this conflict, these are the next level. Controlled by a fiber optic cable rather than a radio signal, these UAVs feed back crystal clear imagery and are immune to electronic jamming. And Russia is using them in their thousands. So what, if anything, can be done to stop them?
Interrupting the signal is very difficult because it's not broadcast. So how do you tap into a fiber optic cable? It's technically very difficult. The other option is to break that connector, if you like, and that is...
And we just saw on the previous video how difficult it is to break that. Unless you basically bend it in half, then it can snap. But to just cut it like that, it's going to be difficult.
It's really the only option. Either to shoot the drone out of the sky, and you'd have to be quite precise if the drone is hundreds of feet in the air or even hundreds of meters. And the drones are not that big, so you'd have to have a pretty accurate shot to destroy the drone. More likely, the vulnerable aspect is to use a winged drone against a tethered drone, a winged drone whose wings are perhaps a kamikaze type winged drone with wings that have been configured with very sharp blades, very sharp leading edges, and literally to fly a drone of several feet wingspan into the tether.
So you're basically going to waste two drones. Yeah, but might as well than the bomb, I guess.
Hope of disrupting the images and the data transfer.
The principle of a fiber optic drone is quite simple. Take a standard FPV drone and attach a reel of fiber optic cable to the body. It doesn't provide power, that still comes from batteries, but it can be used to control the drone and feed back high-quality video signals, doing away with any of the radio emissions that make a UAV detectable, and making the drone impervious to electronic jamming. The weight of the fiber optic conductor does reduce the flight time and weapons payload slightly, but these drones can still fly for more than 20 kilometers into the enemy's lines.
So 20 kilometers of fiber optic reels coming, it's like going back to the olden days when radio control wasn't invented. I still remember my first radio control car. It had two buttons and it had a cable going into the car, so you had to run after it all the time. Yeah, that was the early 90s. But imagine 20 kilometers of fiber optic wire. So if it gets stuck in a tree, it doesn't matter because the cable is coming off the drone itself. I reel that back in again.
And stay
Well, there is footage that we're coming to afterwards that we'll see what actually happens to the fiber optic
airborne
cables.
For around 20 minutes. Russia was the first to introduce fiber optic FPV drones, using them for reconnaissance and attacks on Ukrainian forces. A 1.5 kilogram reel of fiber optic cable is enough to provide a drone with 10 kilometers of range. Ukraine is deploying its own version of these drones, with reports it's also developing sound detectors that can identify incoming UAVs. In December, the British Army successfully trialled what's called a radio frequency directed energy weapon. It uses high-frequency radio waves to damage critical components inside drones. Longer-term, lasers are another possible answer. The Royal Navy is fitting the Dragonfire laser system to its ships from 2027. But for now, finding a way to cut the fibre optic cable seems to be the only realistic solution.
You change some of those plastic blades for titanium sharpened edge blades. That would cut through a tether. So it wouldn't even need to fly into it. The titanium edge, the speed at which the blades go around on a quadcopter,
titanium
you may need
will make those drones much heavier.
Something slightly bigger than a small Phantom,
Less
just
time,
because
less
of the torque on the rotor. You would need sufficient force for it to cut through the fibre optics. But it does strike me that titanium, very lightweight, very sharp-edged titanium blades would give you the lift you need on the drone, and you can control it right onto the cable, and it would be a manual cut. But I think a manual cut is still a hard manual cut like that is still the thing that needs to be done.
Each Ukrainian brigade is said to be using around 1,000 drones every month. In many parts of the front line, they're the single biggest reason the Ukrainians are holding on. Like every development before, a solution to countering the fibre optic threat will undoubtedly be found. The challenge for Ukraine is doing it quickly before more cities like Prokofsk are overrun by the Russian army. Simon Newton, BFBS Forces News.
Okay, so imagine that, thousands of drones, fiber optic drones. So all those cables are just lying around the ground somewhere. Let's take a look at this next video. And this is what Ukraine looks like. The front line, the ground field. I think I have some more footage of that. Oh, here's one with the drone actually releasing the fiber optic cables while it's flying. So it basically has to carry that extra 1.5 kilos for 10 kilometer or 3 kilos for 20 kilometer. 3 kilos on a drone. So they gotta be pretty big drones to carry that and the payload. Here's another TikTok I found.
UF-10, this is an FPV style drone put together by IGG of the Edge Group. And the reason this one kind of stood out to me is we're not seeing these FPV drones at this entire conference. A lot of loitering munitions, and as a comparison, we've got the Switchblade booth over there. We've been there a couple times, $50,000 on or about per unit. This guy here, 15-kilometer range. It can carry a decent sized payload. You see a couple RPG warheads here underneath. It's in the $5,000 to $10,000 range. So what we're really seeing right now is kind of folks trying to come up with a military-grade solution to these homemade FPV drones that we're seeing used by Ukraine and Russia. This is trending in the right direction, still more expensive than a lot of the homemade versions, but again, we're not seeing a lot of this at this conference, so this one definitely stands out.
Wow, we're having a conference with like war drones. Wow, Russian quadcopter cuts the fiber cable of a Ukraine FPV drone, causing it to crash, okay? FPV means first person view. Well, there's a lot of FPV drones which a lot of people use because they're easier to control if you are good at it. But yeah, adding the optical cable, it's just for the war zones. Boom, cable cut. Once the cable's cut, there's no more control to it.
Fiber of the FPV drone is strong and durable. It has withstood the test of actual combat. These optical fibers are mainly used for FPV drone image transmission. The wired transmission of signals has a coating on the outside to make it resistant to bending. It is difficult to tear unless it is folded in half. The image transmission signal is not broken or torn, even when bent. The optical fiber of the FPV drone is strong and durable. It has withstood the test of actual combat.
If it's folded in half, it breaks. Okay, let's see. This guy's set up. Okay, so they just got their screens and they're just flying it to wherever they want to while they're sitting relaxed at a cabin somewhere. I think I played this one, but not from the starting. That's a pretty big drone. And as you can see, that fiber optic cable just inside. Well, yeah, that's just a once-off use. I don't see how they can roll that up again. It's amazing. And that's all the videos for today. Please make sure to hit the subscribe, like, hit the bell, so you don't miss out on any more videos like this. I get some crazy ones. And if you did miss a funny video I made recently, well, that was yesterday, please make sure to click it right above here, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.